Hey guys, Angela here, and welcome back to another Hobby Night episode. This week, we will be taking a stroll through the Black Library to look for a document penned by the great robo-girly man himself, the Index Astartes, where we will not only be able to learn how to make our own Space Marine, but we're also going to learn a little bit about some founding chapters, like the Dark Angels and Iron Warriors. We're also going to be learning about some secondary foundings, like the Flesh Terrors, as well as some Space Marine Dreadnoughts and Librarians. So join me with John and let's take a peek at the Index Astartes. And here we have the Index Astartes, and I'm joined by John.
Hello, everyone.
Hello! This is the Holy Tome focusing on the Imperium's finest warriors of the Space Marines of the Adeptus Astartes.
I'm going to correct you a little bit. It's the Space Marines of the Adeptus Astartes, not of the Space Marines of the Adeptus Astartes. Only because we were talking about this right off camera. I'm being a pedant, but the reason I'm doing that is because normally, at least modernly, the Adeptus Astartes are the Space Marines.
I thought that was weird when I read that sentence.
Whereas this implies, I guess the implication here is like, the Adeptus Astartes also includes the Space Marine Navy.
Oh, okay. I guess so. Maybe. I guess they are an office rather than a person.
I guess.
Or something. I don't know. Very strange.
There's there's a janitorial staff somewhere that they have to give some credit.
Well, no.
The Adeptus Custodes.
Yeah,
yes.
The Adeptus Custodes.
No, they're not part of the Astartes.
No, they're not. This is the lowercase Custodes.
So this is already going well for the book review.
It is.
All right. So we start off with Andy Chambers' smiling face.
Indeed, of course.
Yes.
I mean, isn't he in a lot of the books from like this era?
Andy Chambers, yeah, I believe he was the design studio head in 2002 when the book came out.
Very, very cool.
And this is sort of a weird transition era for 40k, where we were sort of leaving the 1990s.
Right. This like a lore
era.
Update? Was that the intention of
it? Wasn't so much of a lore update as much as it was they were consolidating White Dwarf articles together.
Gotcha.
And so this is a collection of articles from White Dwarf.
Okay.
That was sort of really not rewriting the canon of the Space Marines,
but kind of condensing it all into one place.
Of sort of like here's the modern like canon.
Right.
This is what we accept as true.
Nice.
And so they covered a bit of things, but because it's the very first one, we start with the origin of the Space Marines, or how they're actually created.
That is really cool. The rites of initiation.
Yes. So they go through everything from gene seeds and how those are handled.
I really wish that they had, in parentheses, put their names and actually
Gilliman.
Had Robo-Girlyman.
Yeah, why is
Robote Gilliman as
Robote Gilliman should be written as like Index Astartes by.
Right, exactly, because he is the
author
of the original Index Astartes, is he not?
Yes.
Excellent.
And so this is where we actually get the most, I think, canonical list of all the extra organs
that go into a Space Marine.
Yes. You know, the second heart, as I shake the camera. Let's see.
The Osmodula.
Yeah, this is the thing that helps him grow the black carapace.
Oh, nice.
Let's see. That's just a hormone gland. Yeah,
so
there's a few.
Big and strong.
Yeah, there's a few of them that are just like hormone glands.
Right, here, just take these steroids to get big.
Yes. Yeah, we have the Laraman's organ, which basically allows them to like scar anything.
Okay, that's cool.
Yes. Brain implant. I think that's the one that helps them sleep indefinitely.
Oh, is that how they stay, like, in Dreadnoughts for so long?
No, they're dead in Dreadnoughts. They're in life support.
Are they dead?
No, they're on life support.
Okay, life support, that's what
Yeah. No, what it is, if a Space Marine gets critically wounded...
Yeah, they get put in the Dreadnought so that they can survive, right?
Well, okay, yes, but that is an entirely different topic, which we will discuss later.
Oh, okay.
When a Space Marine is critically injured, he can use parts of his physiology to put himself, in essence, into a coma.
Oh.
So that he will basically not die.
So is that what
which has nothing to do with a Dreadnought.
No, I wasn't going to bring Dreadnoughts up. I was actually going to bring up, crap, I have forgotten his name. Bird Boy. Not Sanguinius, but like, Mephiston. Thank you.
Okay, I was like, I went to the Raven Guard. And I was like, Corax?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, is that what Mephiston supposedly did when he went into, like, the Black Rage? Did he,
I'm sure it was involved.
Go into, like, stasis or something?
To help him get through it.
Very cool. Can we just talk really briefly about how freaking awesome all of this art is?
Oh no, yeah, the old like
The ink wash?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I love these ink wash drawings. With all this like sepia tone in it too. Oh, I love it.
Yes, I'm looking for the one that's specifically, there it is, everyone's favorite, the Belcher's gland.
Becher's gland?
Belch, yep.
2 of these identical glands are implanted. What makes them so interesting?
Either into the lower lip alongside the salivary glands, or into the hard palate. Becher's gland works in a similar way to a poison gland of venomous reptiles by synthesizing and storing deadly poison. Marines are rendered immune to this poison by virtue of the gland's presence. The gland allows the Marine to spit a blinding contact poison. The poison is also corrosive. A Marine imprisoned behind iron bars could easily chew his way out given a few hours.
Okay, I have some
You've
questions.
never heard it? This is why it's called the Belcher's gland by a lot of people.
I see,
even though it's not pronounced or spelled that way.
I have heard of this. I always forget it because why don't they use this, like, why is this not in some way, like, used as a close combat, like, thing a Space Marine unit can do? Like, you know how you can do, like,
it's brought up, it's in the RPG, and it's brought up in some of the Chaos stuff.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool, that's awesome. I didn't know, like, I was, like, wondering why we never see this from. Is it just because we don't want Space Marines spitting on people all the time? Is that what it is?
I
It
think
was like, that's a
also-
little unsanitary for the Grimdark.
I think the Becher's gland is part of the mutation that causes the Blood Angel thing.
Oh, the vampirism?
Causes the teeth, at least.
Oh, is that why you guys have fangs?
I think that's the idea.
I wonder if that's the same reason the Space Wolves have fangs.
This one's
Probably
also
not.
weird, too. The mucranoid.
Yeah?
The small organ is implanted in the lower intestine, where its hormonal secretions are absorbed by the colon. These secretions initiate a modification of the sweat glands. The modification normally makes no difference to the Marine until activated by appropriate chemotherapy. As a result of this treatment, the Marine sweats an oily, naturally cleansing substance which coats the skin. And so basically they can excrete
So they can
a temperature.
shower themselves.
No, they can excrete a temperature-resistant sweat.
Oh, that's weird.
And that can protect them against vacuum or near vacuum.
So that's how they can survive in space.
Basically, they have something implanted in their butt that allows them to sweat so they can live in space better.
I love Space Marines.
That's the Emperor's design right there.
The Emperor's design is in
holy.
fact
It is
holy
and perfect. Indeed. Perfect.
Perfect. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so we had there were 19 phases. Is that what it was?
There's the phases are not that. I think there's 3 or 4 phases. Or
they're all phases. Yeah, so 19 phases.
I always thought they implanted multiple of them at the same time, though.
Apparently not.
Maybe they do multiple phases at the same time.
They might. That might be the case.
Because I know part of the problem is they have to grow some of them to support the other organs.
Right, that makes sense. Well, they're actually, the next chapter is actually variations between the chapters.
Yeah,
so I wonder if that, does that talk about maybe they put things in different orders for various chapters?
In some chapters, mutations of the gene scene post-surgical procedure or inadequate post-operative conditioning has twisted the functionality of implants. For example, the homophagia gene seed of the blood drinkers has mutated it so that all blood drinkers have an unnatural craving for blood. In other chapters, individual organs are either useless or absent altogether. Like, for example, I know there are Space Marine chapters that don't have the acid spitting organ. And it's like,
that makes sense.
Well, they don't need it.
Yeah.
But it is,
I wish the salamanders can convert it so they could breathe fire.
I'll be honest, I think salamanders do have it, and I think in their lore they have some very specific, nasty.
Yeah, I have
abilities
questions about. I've never looked into the salamanders that much, but I have now questions about why do we not have half lizard men, Space
we do.
Marines
It's called the salamanders.
Well, no, but they're not actually half lizard men. You know how the Wolfen exists for the Space Wolves and everything, and they're actually werewolves, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Where are my half lizard men dudes?
Right.
For my salamanders, I would play salamanders.
You want some were salamanders?
I want some were salamanders, man.
Okay, so here you were right. You were completely right.
Okay, so they do put them in the stages. That is really cool.
Sorry if the camera shook there for a moment. Oh, okay, here's what I was thinking. See? Phases 1 through 3 are at the same time. 5 and 6 are at the same time. We were both right. We both win.
Yay!
I always really liked this illustration.
That is a cool... I was actually going to say, I really like that illustration there. I also really like that they give you the breakdown of when in their age this happens.
Yes, and this chart and this entire book causes so many headaches in forums nowadays.
Because it's probably not canonically accurate anymore to what they have retconned since, like, Primaris and stuff.
I think Primaris, yeah. I think in a lot of narratives you'll hear about, like, this story about this Space Marine when he's an initiate for the Blood Angels, or the Salamanders,
right.
And he's thinking back, and it's like, man, you're really describing somebody who sounds like an adult. Or, like, a teenager. And
everybody's an adult by, like, 8 in the Imperium, let's be honest.
Okay, I'm sure that's probably going to be, like, the argument against it of, like, yes, the children of Baal, by the age of 9, are capable of making this journey.
Right.
Okay, they haven't even hit puberty yet, and they're in radiation.
Yep, okay.
But I'm just saying, like, I feel like that kind of breaks.
Dude, that happens every time, because there is no planet for, like...
But most of them are death worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Almost all... Not almost all, but a larger portion of the planets Space Marines come from tend to be death worlds, and I'm like, how are you getting 10-year-olds to your, like, monasteries where they're having to, like, make this epic journey most of the time through this wasteland to get there? How do they survive? How do you even have Space Marines? It's the one thing that I've never understood.
It's a big Imperium. So I was just reading reading some of this. And I was just looking at, because you were talking about more examples of mutation and such, right? Another extreme example of gene-seed deterioration can be found in the Black Dragons chapter.
Okay.
Where the Osmadula implant functions in an abnormal way. I think that's what leads to the Black Carapace.
Okay, cool.
This leads to the growth of bony crests on the head and blade-like protrusions, I'll just say, from the forearms and elbow. Like the Death Company of the Blood Angels. Warriors inflicted with such abnormal developments are formed into separate fighting units.
Okay, cool. So I wonder where the Black Dragon's from then. I will have to look that up.
That's a chapter. Known as the Dragon Claws. They sharpen their abnormal protrusions and sheath them in adamantium to turn them into vicious close combat weapons.
I didn't know that adamantium existed in the Imperium.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's not. I think there are stronger things in the Imperium.
Well, isn't there armor made of something like you said it was ceramite?
Adamantium, I think, is still stronger than ceramite, but it's also way heavier.
Ah, makes sense.
And like, it's something you can coat your something in. But if you were wearing
fancy.
I think if you're wearing like a full suit of it, you're like wearing like the Emperor's armor at that point.
That's fair.
I don't know. Correct me in the comments. I don't know where ceramite falls to adamantium.
It
depends where your faith is, really.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but you can see, so there are even cases where they will put deformed zygotes into some initiates, although this is dangerous and it is discouraged.
That makes sense. I'm sure that Gilliman probably will frown upon that immensely.
Yes. And then they do, of course, psychological and chem training on all of the new race.
But that's once they've gotten all their implants.
Yes, and you too can buy an army of these elite super soldiers for yourself today.
Indeed, look at them. They are beautiful.
I know it's not right to make fun of it, but like imagine you read all this grim dark lore, it's all heavy, and then it's like, hey guys, we wear blue.
Yeah, I know, right? That was one thing that I always found interesting with the fact that the Ultramarines were like the poster children, is I was just like, they're also very blue, and like not dark blue either. Like the Crimson Fists, for example, who are a very nice
deep blue, sky blue, yeah.
With
ultramarine
like,
blue is
yeah, exactly. They're ultramarine blue. That is a vivid blue. How do they hide? I always wondered.
They don't.
I know.
And then we actually have the history of the Index Astartes itself.
Yeah, I've heard of that horse heresy thing.
It is.
It's nice that they can condense it into a couple of paragraphs in this book.
Yeah, it's a much smaller event than, say, Psychic Awakening.
Yes.
Which is going to be much more impactful.
Yes. Definitely a much bigger impact.
And then we have, basically, this is the history of the foundings.
Okay.
So, Horus Heresy happened, Gilliman wrote the book.
Nice.
And then we broke into the chapters. We talk about the Dark Founding. We don't talk about the Dark Founding.
All right, we won't talk about
Not to be compared with the Cursed Founding, which you should also not talk about.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize there were so many,
There's been some bad foundings.
Apparently,
Why do you think there are so many Chaos Marines still running around? They accidentally made more over the years.
Got it.
Yeah, I think what happened with the Dark Founding is they all disappeared. And I think the Cursed Founding, did they all turn chaos?
Just looks like it was a civil war.
Oh, yeah, they just were cursed, had mutations.
Oh, they declared...
the Grey Knights ended up killing them
Mm-hmm.
by this one... Yeah, the Flame Falcons.
Yeah, that's cool.
That turned them into an extreme...
Ooh, I'm so sorry.
Spontaneous and extreme physical corruption turned them into a race no longer human or sane.
Oh, okay.
So, obviously,
So
Grey
they just
Knights,
transformed into demons.
pretty much. And here we can actually see, written by your father's best friend, Rupert Gilliman.
Indeed.
This is how Gilliman said you had to lay out a chapter.
And, you know, he is correct.
He was, until then, all of the Primaris came out, and then they started to describe how many Primaris there were, and people went, wait.
Why are there so few Space Marines
But
then?
wait, but if there were that many Space Marines, and there's only supposed to be 1,000 Ultramarines, and then Games Workshop went, shut up!
Yeah, I feel like Games Workshop tells us to be quiet about, like, the number of Space Marines in the, like, world.
See,
lot.
these 2 pages have served as, like, the source of a lot of information for debate,
Mm-hmm.
because of up here. Following the Horus Heresy, the Space Marine legions were divided into chapters consisting of roughly 1,000 warriors, and the word roughly has been abused to all hell.
Well, I mean, 10,000 is also roughly 1,000.
You know, compared to a Googleplex, you are correct.
Exactly.
And that's
that
where
would
we
be,
are
And that
now.
would be my logic as a Space Marine. I'd be like, well, there's bigger numbers out there.
Yeah, and that's basically where we are with it now.
Ooh,
This is the
that.
old cover of the Dark Angels Codex.
This is the portion of the book that I think is specifically about the Dark Angels.
Yes, we're about
because I do
to
think
enter
they
that
are
chapter.
featured in this.
And we can see the last breakdown of the squads.
Not
the
in
old
use,
days.
not in use.
Th-
Not in use.
They still are in the Codex.
Not in use, not in use, not in use. I mean, we're literally getting some melee Primaris soon. The Assault Marines will definitely not be used.
I know.
Okay, this is cool.
The old
I also hope it was actually drawn on this graph paper and they just left the graph paper like in there.
I find it a little weird though.
Yeah.
That they would do the first chapter. I guess because it's in numerical order. Okay.
Yeah, because isn't Lionel Johnson the first Primarch?
He is, and they're the first Legion. Because I was gonna say, why would we start with a Chaos Legion? But yeah, it makes sense if they're number 1.
Exactly. They are number 1. Look at his glorious winged helmet.
Mm-hmm. In mockery of the Emperor and all that it stands for, really.
It's true.
So,
The lion and the wolf.
the betrayal when they betrayed the Imperium.
Yep. Those
I love the Watchers, the little guys that hang out with them.
Oh, you mean they're little like cheruby guys? Oh
Yeah.
no, they're not cherubs. They're actually like a species, aren't they?
Yeah, the Watchers.
They're not like the Thousand Suns dudes who were actual like demons.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. They are probably aliens or possibly gnomes.
We're gonna be able to have these guys and actually
God,
have
right.
them probably not be crap. I also love this, like, dang, that is some really nice, like, hand-done work there
Mm-hmm.
on that tank.
Well, they are the Dark Angels.
Yeah, that's fair. Can you actually get the Watchers in the game? Like, do those...
There was a mini for it, yes.
There was? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, there was actually...
I wasn't sure because this kind of looked like one,
No,
but...
that's just a chaplain. There is a mini of basically this guy. Because
Okay.
he's actually carrying the helm.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, and he would actually have rules for him.
Nice. Do the Dark Angels have like a helm that's a warlord trait? Is that what he's carrying? Like
It's a relic, you mean?
Or that's what I meant. Yeah, a relic. Like,
Probably,
is that what
yeah.
it
It's
is?
the lion helm.
Yes,
as
I
you
do
can see,
think.
like,
yeah, I do think that
This
is.
is supposed to be Lionel Johnson's helm.
Oh, that's very generic Space Marine.
He was the first. Who's going to define generic if
You
not
know
the
what?
first?
You're right. I more meant like in its shape. Like I always imagine the Primarchs with just much more gaudy helmets, and that looks like just a standard
No. A lot of them don't wear them.
That's true.
I also love their battle cry.
What is it?
Repent, for tomorrow you die!
Oh, that is nice.
Yes.
Do they all have a battle cry?
All legions, yes.
That's cool.
And then we have the second legion.
The Emperor's Children.
The
Oh, Fulgrim.
my favorite Horus Heresy novel, Fulgrim.
We need to finish that still. I know you've read it already, but
That's
I
true.
need to finish
You
it
do,
still.
you do.
Can I just say that I love how much pink is just constantly used for this chapter.
Well, yes, there's
well, I know, but like it's
I
not.
love that sigil.
It's a great sigil. It's not a color that I often associate with like a male dominated like market. I guess, and I've met so many 40k players that absolutely love the Emperor's Children and Fulgrim, and I'm like...
At this point, I feel like in 2020, like... If nothing else, you gotta like the feminine color to be more manly. It's like, I'm so manly, I don't care if it's pink, give me the pink drink.
It's also just a really good color, let's be honest.
Yeah,
like,
it works
it's
well.
a vibrant, beautiful color.
It stands out against a lot of things.
And it makes armor look really cool. Like, on flat panels, I've seen some, like,
so you
really
don't need
nice
to read
painted.
the book. There's the Cleansing of Laren right there.
Yeah, of course. We don't need it.
You just read these 3 pages and you will actually get the cliff notes of what happens in that book. But
I mean, that's the point, right? Is why they put this out.
Well,
this
came out 10 years before the novel, but...
Oh, well, then maybe they were like, here, just follow this and expand it into 300 pages.
That is how you novelize something, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
that's a cool one.
This.
Yeah.
It was so crisp at the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure this one's digital, but like this is one of the early digital pieces GW really started to do, and if not, this is just so crisp.
I don't know if that's necessarily digital. The thing that I really like about this, and this is just
render.
like the art, like aesthetic of when they must have designed the layout for this.
Like
no, it really doesn't. Is this intentionally left negative space?
Yeah.
To then have this smoke. Like, it's just
this.
God, the illustration work that they do for these books, like that they got for the artists who did all these things, are just so cool. So cool. I would have loved to have done stuff like this.
Children of the Emperor, death to his foes.
Nice.
And they actually had the rules.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
But no, legit, these are actually rules.
Was this the only place you could get rules for these at the time, or was this just like a random thing they printed?
So at this edition, I think you got this codex and you got the White Dwarf article to run like your...
Right, because this would have been from... I forget that these excerpts are from the White Dwarf.
Yeah, so it's like,
so
for example, like heavy support. Aside from the deadly bombardment of noise marines, long-range firepower is poorly regarded among Slaaneshi's space marines, and few persist in the use of heavy weapons or support vehicles once their personal prestige allows them a chance to partake of bloody hand-to-hand combat. The following units become 0 to 1.
Nice.
Yeah, so like Havocs, Predators, Land Raiders.
Was this his first mini?
That was his only mini as far as
for the longest time.
Yep.
Because he's only had 2, right? It's then this one and the current one.
Yeah, these are I think all the minis that existed until basically the last year, where they all got updated.
I actually really like this Armin.
I really like the old Fabius.
I also really like the old Fabius too. I'm excited for his new one.
Oh yes,
that
the
one's
new
not
one.
out yet. But
I don't like the face on the new one, but everything else on the new one I like.
Yeah, the face was a little interesting.
That might just be paint job though.
It could be. I don't always agree sometimes with their color schemes.
And here we have Iron Within and Iron Without, the Iron Warriors.
Excellent. Bitter and twisted. Yeah, they are.
They'll destroy everything. I like them mechanically.
I do too.
Being the siege breakers and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they seem like a lot of fun.
Well, for you, they're also the counter to your Primarch.
They're the antithesis of my Primarch. Precisely.
Because nowadays it's Perturabo and Dorn.
Yep. This is cool. Combat doctrines.
The Iron Cage.
Iron within, iron without. I like how they preface the battle cry with a monotone chant of iron within, iron without.
No, because in the books it's just they're just iron within, iron without, iron within, iron without, as they're marching towards you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's probably terrifying.
I mean, it's broadcast a lot louder than that.
Right, they all have megaphones in their mouths.
Yeah.
These are cool. I like... Are these are Terminators? Is this guy a Terminator? His face kind of looks like one.
Yeah, because this...
The Iron Cage?
Yeah. He could have finished off the Imperial Fist at any time, but chose not to. Fortunately for Rogel Dorn, Guilliman put the Imperium before Pride and had brought the Ultramarines to the rescue. The powerful Ultramarine fleet forced the Iron Warriors back, while their Thunderhawks plunged through the dust clouds to evacuate the Fists. Perturabo had no desire to fight 2 chapters and concentrated on preventing the Imperial Fists evacuating their dead and wounded. Rogel Dorn was a broken man. It was 19 years before he and the Imperial Fists could once again go to war. They left over 400 Marines at the Eternal Fortress, and every refugee carried horrific wounds.
Dang.
So... And then, basically, he sacrificed the gene seed of all the captured your boys, and that's what elevated Perturabo to a demon prince.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
what does his demon prince look like? Do we have that?
I don't think
like
we
have
do.
we ever seen that?
We might be a Forge World or something like that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I could imagine he's a Forge World.
Yeah, because a lot of he's one of the survivors, but a lot of the surviving Primarchs just haven't been addressed yet.
Right.
There we have the rules for the Iron Warriors.
Of course, and then the most epic picture of Abaddon.
I love that picture of Abaddon.
I love this picture too. He's just so good. He's just so good. What is this happening? What do you think that is?
I think it's a bolter shell exploding.
Like exploding on the skulls that he's standing on. How do they get him standing in a pile like that? In the middle of battle.
You gotta get a lot of skulls. And eventually they'll just pile up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's sort of an entropy thing.
I see. Do they just sort of like magnetize to each other if they start to get close? They all just start rolling to one another?
That is exactly right.
Perfect.
All right.
Lightning attack.
It is time for the White Scars.
Look at them. They're glorious.
Possibly about to have their second coming.
Oh my gosh, right?
With the return of bikes.
Absolutely. The fact that they released stuff for the White Scars and didn't have much in like the way of bikes for them was very weird.
I just imagine something happened in the order of releases that they didn't necessarily plan 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's fair. Nice. Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Find some orcs.
Oh, a good story that I read once was just White Scars fighting Speed Freaks.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That's probably a book. That's either a book or like a series.
I would imagine so, yes. Yeah, I imagine White Scars versus Speed Freaks would be really, really cool. Especially if you're really into vehicles.
Mm-hmm. For the Khan and the Emperor is their battle cry.
Excellent.
And their rules.
Nice.
No, I'm looking forward to like Primaris with whatever the 2020 equivalent of like a White Scar spear is.
Oh my god, right? That'll be
Get
awesome.
lances, sci-fi lances.
Sci-fi lances.
And now for a non-founding legion.
Yes, this is a second founding.
The Flesh Terrors, the army my army is constantly mistaken for.
Right, because we do use the darker red.
I don't know why it gets mistaken for that. Anyway.
No one knows.
That one's work in progress. But yes, so they are a founding chapter off of, you will never guess, the Blood Angels.
No, I was gonna say that they're definitely a founding chapter off of
the Salamanders?
Yeah, the Salamanders. Definitely the Salamanders.
The human-loving Sons of Vulcan.
Indeed.
But they don't have Carnarvon, High Chaplain of the Death Company and Watcher of the Lost, do they?
No, they do not.
No.
So how much do you actually know about the Flesh Terrors?
I actually know very little about their lore. I know they are quite popular, and I did used to play Blood Angels, so I feel like I should know a bit more about them. But
you played classic Blood Angels, though.
I did.
You tended...
Flesh Terrors are the guys who are just really angry.
Oh, okay.
They're like Blood Angels with
different?
They're Blood Angels with an anger management problem.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
The Flesh Terrors have developed a dreadful cry when they charge that, amplified by their power armor's Vox systems, has been known to stun lesser enemies into utter submission. To date, there have been no recordings made of their cry, though the few survivors of their assaults have described it as the wailing sound that drove deep into their minds, bringing to the fore an absolute terror that made it almost impossible to halt the Space Marines' brutal assault.
I just imagined, like, a really loud, like, singing, like, belting of like Celine Dion's like what's the Titanic song or something like that. I'm just imagining like a really like soulful like moving cry that just makes people submit. It's actually not horrifying or like in that way. It's just like
the heart will go on.
Yeah, it's just so much like the heart will go on, and they're just with such emotion, and that is now my canon, like
for the Flesh Terrors.
Yes.
So I know what their deal is they're a Blood Angels chapter, and I think they are a little bit more mutated than normal.
I see. So they go a little bit more like
they just like they're hitting like they finish their scout training and they're already 1 foot in the Death Company. Like
oh, that's extreme.
Like so, what their deal is just okay. They're the assault. Do you want Space Marines that are really angry and are just gonna basically be corn berserkers?
I mean, isn't that the Angry Marines?
No. This is worse. Not worse.
Worse than the Angry Marines?
The Angry Marines are angry at very specific things. This is more of a, are you just angry? I mean, the Angry Marines are angry at everything in general, too. They're very close.
Okay.
They're more
these are the canon.
These are
and
the
the
canon
angry
Angry
marines are the
Marines,
not
yes.
canon anger.
These are the not yellow with smiley faces.
Exactly.
God.
Oh, that's amazing.
And here's your Dreadnought section. You can read this section and learn how Dreadnoughts are made.
Oh my goodness, the old ones. That's good.
The
Does this
katana-
talk? I was gonna say this should talk about Bjorn, right? Because isn't he
Bjorn the Fell-Handed?
Yeah, like,
He
isn't he-
might. I'm not sure. This one I love because this
Oh
was...
no, there he is.
Ah, there we
Bjorn the Fell-Handed.
go. Yeah, they're talking about the
The
oldest
three
ones.
mightiest warriors are Brother Deimos of the Angels.
Sanguine?
No, Profire?
Porphyr. Yeah.
Profir. I don't know what that one is. Brother Servus of the Ultramarines.
And
So-
the
sorry.
legendary Bjorn the Fell-Handed.
Did he lose his hand? I don't actually know much about Bjorn.
I don't know either.
Huh. I'll have to ask Scotty sometime.
Indeed. I love the Katana Bay story.
Yeah?
It's basically a battle of Orc Death Dreads and Imperial Dreadnoughts.
Ooh, I bet that was epic.
I don't, just because.
Why do so I know Space Marines have dreadnoughts and stuff like that because of that's where they put their mortally wounded Space Marines that
Can still fight.
Can still fight. Why do orcs have the equivalent?
Because robots are cool.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And goblins like making them.
That's cool.
There's Bjorn the Fell-Handed, the first battle of the Fang.
Nice. I really like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much the color has stood up in some of these.
Oh god, right?
Like, that is such a vibrant red and yellow, and I was thinking the same thing with the Abaddon,
And I
actually.
love the heat trails coming out of this multi-melta.
Oh, I know, right? It's so good. And the perspective is great.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Oh my god, that's so cute.
No, and he's like, hello. I'm here to
Hello.
wave.
I'm just gonna grab you.
Yes, more stories about legendary dreadnoughts.
Beautiful.
Feel free to pause and enjoy.
Somewhere they're fighting the Tyranids, apparently.
And then we have the
Great Librarians.
yes.
Nice.
This looks like he has emo hair.
Oh my god, it does, and I love it. Dude, that's okay,
Here,
so...
we actually have a salamander.
We do, I saw that. He's very blue, oddly enough.
Blue is a librarian thing.
Oh, is it? Okay, that
Yeah,
makes
you'll
sense,
notice.
I guess. Yeah, they all have blue, I see that.
It's the sign of their office.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Because I was about to be like, come on, guys, he's supposed to be green.
I think they do that as much as they did back in the day.
You know, I honestly don't mind that. I'm a little sad that they don't do it as much. I know, like, why, because they're just giving people flexibility to do whatever they want without trying to, like, dictate, hey, look, Mephiston. We
And
were just talking about him.
Ezekiel, the Grand Master of Librarians, keeper of the Book of Salvation, holder of keys. Mephiston was like, Lord of Death is fine.
Yeah, Lord of Death is fine. I'll just take that.
Tigerius is like, I'm good.
I'm just Chief Librarian Tigerius. Thank you.
I was gonna say, Primarist, not yet.
Ooh, that would be cool to see him come out as a Primaris.
I suspect if we're ever gonna get the Lion, we'll see some other stuff.
Isn't he rumored?
That yes.
Like, isn't he one of the, like, suspected, like, potential next ones that will be brought back, basically?
Yes.
Nice.
And finally, advertisements for Warhammer Monthly and the old comic books.
Very cool. He's an angry-looking person.
He is very... That was a style. There was an artist they had that did a lot of art for them back then that did this really, like, chiseled trace thing.
No, it makes sense. It totally makes sense.
And that is the first... Oh, and an ad for Forge World. And
Nice.
that is the first...
Wait, did drop pods used to be just a Forge World thing?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that kit didn't get released until the mid-2000s, I think.
Oh, okay, so it was new-ish when
When you
I got
into
in.
it. Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
they
I
were
didn't
new.
realize that they were super new. Maybe that's why I got so many of them.
You were, because the rules were really good for them at the time.
That's right. I do remember that.
I do wish drop pods were going to come back. Yeah, unfortunately, Primaris just don't use them.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Because yeah, I really do wish we could use our old drop pods with the new Primaris.
Yeah. Well, especially since they changed
But at this
some
point, you can
rules
just
with the
basically teleport them in anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Whatever.
All right.
But that's pretty cool. This has been the Index Astartes. Here's the back of the book, just so you can see what it is all covering. Now, we don't own any of the other Index Astartes books. Do you know how many there were?
I think there were 3 or 4.
Did they finish them, or did they stop making them before they actually finished?
I could not tell you.
Okay, I was curious, because, like, I'll have to look into it, because I wouldn't mind seeing if we could, like, find more of these. But this is a really cool book.
These are hard to find. I know these are some of the more expensive books.
Oh,
in
I'm
the
sure
last
that they
20
are.
years.
And it's not like something I expect to actually be able to find, like, in a, reasonable price range or whatever, but it'll be kind of interesting to look and see what the other ones were and if they were actually complete or not.
Yes. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have enjoyed, please let us know down in the comments, and do be sure to subscribe if you are new.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.